Welcome to my video. It is the beginning of the year and I always get inspired by other booktubers' favorite books, and I love reading books that remind me why I love reading. And that's what I'm going to be doing this video. I have picked out 3 books that are favorites of some of my favorite booktubers. The first one is The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating. This is a nonfiction book about a little snail. It's supposed to be very emotional, a lot of different types of things, not just about the snail itself, but about humanity. And this one is one of the favorite books of Ariel from the podcast Unbound Books. Ariel also has her own booktube, and I'll link that below. The next book I'm going to read is The Assassin's Apprentice, which is a fantasy book by Robin Hobb, and this book is one of the favorites of Peruseproject. I love her recommendations. Whenever I read a book that is her favorite, it becomes my favorite. Thank you for The Way of Kings, because yes. And Reagan keeps on talking about Robin Hobb, so I want to start the series. I know it's like 15 books or something crazy, but at least start it and see how I like it so far. I might get myself in another whole giant series, which I've already did last year because of Reagan, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So we're gonna do that as well. And then lastly, this isn't necessarily her favorite book, but it's one of her favorite authors. And this is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. And this is one of the favorites of Uncarley. I think she's hilarious. She's a Canadian booktuber. I guess Ariel is also a Canadian booktuber. But this is one of the Sally Rooney books. This is the last book of Sally Rooney's that I have yet to read. So we are going to be reading Intermezzo. Uncarley gave it a 10 out of 10. So hopefully it's good. She did say it's kind of a little bit harder to get through. So hopefully I will get through it. It is more of a chunker. But I think I have, I have a little bit of smaller books, a little bit of longer book. All right, but let's get started. I'm going to start off with the tiniest of the books, and that is The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating. Hello, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update because I've read 58 pages so far of The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating. It is so lovely, but to kind of have a little bit more context, author has this kind of rare disease in which she really cannot get out of bed. She can barely move. She can't even read a book. She is so tired. And her friend brings her a snail from the outside woods. She lives in Maine. And she kind of goes throughout her day watching the snail, building a little home for the snail. And it's just like this beautiful complimentary writing of the snail's slow but meaningful life, and her slowed down time due to her chronic illness and being bedbound. The author does such a good job of blending just fun little tidbits and the life of her little snail, which she just calls Snail, and her chronic illness, which makes it so that she can't really do anything. She can't even read. She doesn't have, that much that is going on for her with the busy life of her friends and families around her, since she's in her 30s at this time. So loving it. I started annotating it because I've just been running into some like really beautiful quotes from this book. Definitely gonna finish it today. Gonna eat some dinner and finish the book. I have maybe 100 pages left. So it's really easy read. It's really beautiful read. It reminds me why I love reading authors' books who love animals and who write about animals. So finish this up. Definitely finish it today. Maybe move on to my next one tonight. But that is the update so far. Hello, it is Friday. After work, I work a half day, so I went to Pilates, and it's 2:20 right now. So I finished The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating yesterday. I made a few little tabbies on there. And I'm giving it like around 4 stars. I'm thinking maybe 3.75, maybe 4. I liked her writing. I really liked how she kind of got to the point with it. Like it was as long as it needed to be. And I really liked her meditations on being somebody who is so sick that, the world kind of goes around without her. Parts were a little bit boring, specifically the parts when she went on and on about slime. So there was that, but most of it was very enjoyable. And I did start on The Assassin's Apprentice, just started it last night and did a little bit today. But I'm gonna go to like a coffee shop or a cafe to do some reading just to get out of the apartment. I don't really need to be here. It's, it's not like that much into the day. I'm used to like going home and like just getting ready for like the next day, but I'm like, it's the weekend, it's a long weekend. I have a lot of time. So I'm gonna go to, I think I'm gonna go to I think it's called the Blue Whale Cafe, and continue reading this, maybe get some like early dinner, late lunch.
I'm used to give all I have. I'm used to get nothing back. Wherever I go, it's the same. There's no excuses, no one to blame. Sometimes I can understand how it can be.
I went and got tacos after my matcha because the Blue Whale is by this taco place I love, and I figured the line wouldn't be too crazy right now. So I'm gonna eat early dinner at home and read and just hang out the rest of the day at home. So I'm gonna get through Assassin's Apprentice. I'll be honest, it is taking me a while to get through the pages. Like, I'm not reading it as quickly as the last book and other books, but I'm liking it so far. I'll give you guys more of an update once I hit like 50 pages, maybe 100 pages.
How it can be so hard to stay out of pain, but with you everything has changed. Even though we both stay the same, would you call me on the midnight train? Would you come over when nothing's right? Would you hold me tight in the rain, even as we're having a fight?
Hello, I have a couple things to say. One, Chai is the most popular dog in San Diego. Children love him, old people love him, everybody loves him, especially when he was carrying a little baggie. I think I took a video of it, but he was carrying this bag around. Yeah, he loves it. Second, I'm pausing on reading for until 5:30 for I'm driving home, but for the next 2 hours, because my friend texted me and told me when TikTok is shutting down. So I'm just gonna brain rot until then, and then I'll have plenty of time to read. But yeah, I thought I had until midnight, but I only have 2 more hours. So after I stop filming this, I am going to finish charging my car, watch TikTok, get home, watch TikTok until we are done. You might judge me, I don't care. That is the plan until, I think it's supposed to be like 5:30 Pacific time. So we shall see. Good morning. Good morning. It's Sunday. Chai is deciding to come over here, but I am about halfway through The Assassin's Apprentice. Last night I just wanted a little bit of a palate cleanser, so I started reading a little bit of Intermezzo, but I'm going back to Assassin's Apprentice. Fitz is our main character.
you know, I think this is like one of like 10 books in a series, something crazy like that. So this book is definitely doing the world building, the character building. You're going from when he is 6 years old to right now in the book, I think he's around like 15 years old. And he was definitely like just a kid who could like run around, do things, kind of do whatever he wants. He made friends with like, you know, some ruffian, not ruffian, but like some kids on the bad side of town. And now he is learning to be an assassin. And it's really interesting how he tries to keep up those friendships, specifically a friendship with Molly, Nosebleed. Molly's like a candle maker, and she has a father who's a drunkard, and you can kind of tell there's maybe some romance brewing a little bit there. I love Molly. But I'm liking how you're seeing him develop from kind of a kid who's like pretty honestly stupid and doesn't know anything what's going on. Even at 15, he doesn't really know what's going on. And you can kind of look from the outside and see all of the like different political things, but you're really only looking at it from his perspective. So he is a bastard. It's not too much of a spoiler, but his biological father dies, and that kind of accelerates the political games that are happening. And his father's wife comes in, and she's kind of manipulating things and is maybe on his side. So it's interesting to see. It's a little bit slow. That is why it's taken me a minute to get through it, but it's definitely one of those books that's just like a setup for the rest of the series. I'm thinking it's gonna be lower on the stars just because it is kind of slow, but I think it is also needed to be this slow when you have a series that is this long. I'm also liking the setting. It's very like medieval times, Knights of the Round Table kind of setting, which I am very much enjoying. It makes me want to go to a Ren fair. It's lovely. But today, in like an hour, I'm leaving to go to the zoo, spend some time at the zoo with some friends. So I'm going to spend the next hour or so reading before I leave. And then I'm going to go to the zoo. And then I have a couple of things here and there I have to do today. I am going to India in like 5 days. I'm leaving for India for like 5-6 days. So I have a lot of things to do, but in between that, I'm gonna keep on reading. Hopefully my goal is to finish this today and then move on to fully focusing on Intermezzo.
I'm used to give up 100 times. It's never been worth it. But now there is so much to say. This time it is different. Sometimes I can't understand how it can be so hard to stay out of pain.
Hello, lovely people. It is Tuesday after work. It is the second day of the Trump administration, and without getting into too many personal details, I have been very much impacted by one of the executive orders. So I've been having a rough time. So we are getting into Intermezzo. I'm gonna make a hot chocolate. It's been a journey for me since the last time I filmed. I got my nails done. There's just this like nice little pink color. I got the gel off since I'll be in India. But I just need to escape reality, go to another reality, just think about other things. And that is what I will do. So I am gonna read a little bit, then make my little hot chocolate. Just try to relax until I go to bed tonight. My goal is to finish this before I leave for India. So it's 450 pages. So that means I have to read about 100 pages, a little over 100 pages a day. So I'm gonna try to get through a little less than 100 pages tonight.
but we'll see. I'm no pressure for myself. It's been a rough time already. Hello, lovely people. I didn't get through Intermezzo last week, and now I'm actually in India. That is actually the Indian Coast Guard. So I downloaded Intermezzo on my Kindle, so I will be reading the book while I'm here, and I'll give you guys updates while I'm in India and show you guys a little bit around Kerala and wherever else I go while I'm finishing Intermezzo. Good morning, lovely people. I have made it through 15% of Intermezzo, so I'll give you guys kind of a rundown of the actual plot. So we have two main characters. Both are brothers. Their father had recently died. The older brother is in his early 30s. He's kind of a fuckboy. He has an ex-girlfriend who I believe has cancer or some sort of terminal illness, who he's still in love with, but he also has a situationship, kind of sugar daddy situation with a younger woman who he is not sure about and is kind of going back and forth with the two of them. And then there's the younger brother who is very socially awkward, very sweet, and is kind of a chess pro, but not the very best. He's kind of like a moderate chess pro and is having a lot of kind of like existential crisis. Like every Sally Rooney book, every character is having an existential crisis. So it makes sense why it's a chess set now. I was wondering why it was a chess set. So I'm really liking it so far. It's very Sally Rooney. It's very kind of depressing. It's very in your own brain, or it's very in the brain of all of the characters. And then also with the Kindle, I've noticed that I've been enjoying the reading experience a lot more than when I was physically reading it. So I finally get it. I wasn't much of a Kindle person before, but now I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of get it because I'm reading it a lot faster. But yeah, that's my review of kind of the plot so far. I'm going to be reading it while we're driving, while we're traveling. We're traveling a lot while we're in India. So I should be able to get through this in the next few days. No idea where my tripod is, so I'm talking to you guys very vlog style, but I am 35% into Intermezzo, and Sally Rooney knows how to write a main character who is extremely flawed. Both of the brothers are very flawed, but especially Peter, the older brother. Any other author, basically, I think I would hate this character. He basically is like sort of leading two women on, but not really. Like he was basically seeing two women at the same time, and they both aren't necessarily monogamous. It's complicated, like any sort of relationship in Sally Rooney's books, but I would definitely hate Peter. But the way she writes Peter and the amount that you're in his head and in his illogical reasoning, I absolutely love it. All right, I moved to the bed. I got my Kindle out. I'm actually 40% of the way through. I read on the boat. The boat was amazing. It was just like such an incredible experience. So we're in Kerala. We're in like a sound, which is like a lake connected to the ocean. And then there's like these rivers that flow into it. And there's like different channels and rivers and like a bunch of people who just like live on the rivers and the canals. Kind of like Venice, but more tropical. So was there, we did that for about 6 hours. So had some lunch there, got some chai, and also got some reading in, which was just fantastic. But I'm loving the AC. And right now we're in this like old British estate, and I'm pretty sure it's haunted. But that's a story for another day. But yeah, we're definitely, and we're in the like rooms of the people who used to live here, or like the original house. There's other kind of like villas and things like that that aren't the original, but we're in like the original spot, and I'm like pretty sure it's haunted. But anyway, intermezzo. Sally Rooney is doing it again. I'm also enjoying how some of the characters are a little bit older than ones she used to write, like in Normal People. And yeah, in Normal People, they're like in high school and then like early college. And most of her books are all kind of like pretty young. Now that I'm 30, I am enjoying that the love interest for the younger brother is like the late 30s, which it's its own kind of complicated situation. And then the older brother is also in his like mid 30s. It is interesting in this way because the older brother has one of his like girlfriends or whatever is his younger brother's age, and his younger brother, his kind of girlfriend love interest is his older brother's age, and they're like, I don't know, 12, 13 years apart. So it's just like an interesting dynamic that his older brother is judging him for dating somebody who's like much older, but he's also dating somebody much younger. I just like connected that, which I probably should have connected it earlier, but he's like, I just got to a part where they got in a huge fight because he found out that his younger brother, Peter just found out his younger brother, Ivan, is starting to date somebody much older, but at the same time, which I kind of predict that this is going to happen, that he's going to find out that like Ivan's going to find out that his older brother, who's very judgmental about the age difference, is dating somebody much younger. So I don't know if that will happen, but yeah, I'm just blabbering. But anyway, we're going to be flying to Jaipur in early morning. We have like 2 flights to get there, so I think I'll really try. I'm going to charge my Kindle, get through a good amount of intermezzo like on the flight. I've been trying to read while we've been in the car, but honestly, it's like the driving in India is so crazy that it's like very difficult to read in a car. It's it's very twisty. There's like, the driving here is its own beast. And we're gonna have like a dinner and then go to bed and then a super early flight in the morning. So I will talk to you guys later.
we had a 4 hour drive to Agra, which is where the Taj Mahal is, and I did finish Intermezzo on the way finally. I didn't even realize it was 4 hours. It went by so quickly because this book was so incredibly good, especially at the end, because the interweavings of the 5 characters was incredible. I just loved how she wrapped everything up. Um, Understanding the story now, I totally get like a lot of the chess metaphors, though I want to reread this after I like learn chess a little bit more, because I definitely was lost at some points. But I'm giving it like a 4.5. It was really, really good. I loved it a lot. I would highly recommend it. It isn't a like all-time favorite, which I'm really trying to reserve my 5 stars for, but I highly recommend it. We went to a bookstore on a travel to another city within India, and the the bookstore owner completely clocked me because I was like, oh yeah, like fiction, and then he recommended Intermezzo right away. I was like, oh, I'm already reading that. He recommended another book, which I got, which is The Vegetarian. But yes, this was great. I feel like my feelings about Intermezzo was completely similar to Uncarley's feelings about Intermezzo. So that made me feel like really good about it, really good about the selection. But yeah, I've read all 3 books now, and this was great. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.